Well, welcome everyone to the new moon in Scorpio. If you're listening to the recording, and welcome to those of you who are here live. I had a lot of people sign up for this, so we may get a couple of people joining during the ceremony. But let's see. So yeah, this auspicious time, the new moon in Scorpio, and I'm just on the heels of our retreat, which we had up in Ojai this past weekend, and the theme was healing the witch legacy and honoring the witch's goddess Hecate. So this time of the new moon in Scorpio, it's all about death, rejuvenation, transformation, and honoring the cycles of life and death, because without death there's no life, and without life there is no death. And our ancestors and the women who would gather under the new moon would honor and respect this cycle of death. They weren't afraid of it as we are today. They would recognize that it's part of life. And in the Aztec and now Mexican cultures, honoring the Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos. And during our retreat, we built an ancestral altar, and everyone bought a photograph of their departed ancestors, and we shared stories as a way to invite them back in and let them know that we hadn't forgotten them, and also to give them thanks that without them we wouldn't be alive. So with all that information, infusing our ceremony today with this first new moon after the witch's new year, after honoring the ancestors, it comes at a very auspicious time. And we know that our ancestors and our legacy of women would gather under the new moon and set intentions for the month and enjoy this quiet, silent time under the dark moon. In our society, we are always rushing around. We don't always give ourselves that grace, that reset every month. But under the new moon, this is our opportunity. And with the moon cycles, we are affected as women, whether we bleed or not. We have Artemis, the maiden. We have the full moon, mother. And then we have the waning moon, the crone, the wise woman, Hecate. So we're honoring these phases of the new moon within our DNA as women. So in order to conserve our energy so that we can shine fully at the full moon, we must take time in the dark moon. So that's why we're here, and I thank you for joining me. So before we start, do you have your journal and a pen handy? And do you have a candle? If not, I can light one for all of us. Do we have any Scorpios with us today? I'm rather partial to this new moon, as it's my sun sign. So drop it. Yes. Okay. So anybody else, drop a yes. Maybe you have rising in Scorpio, or maybe you have some Scorpio. I'm pinned. Yes. So, yeah, so maybe you have rising, or maybe your moon is in Scorpio. But know that this, I think Scorpio is actually the most misunderstood sign, because most people think it's all about sexuality. I mean, it is a little bit. Venus in Scorpio, nice, Deborah. I love that. And I think it's the most misunderstood. But as we know, all the zodiac signs have a symbol of an animal. Guess what? Scorpio has 4 symbols. 4. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. I'm going to cheat and read my notes. After I've read a poem. I always like to start off with a poem. When the moon is new, she invites us to question what it is our soul truly needs. And looking within, heart wisdom rises up to intentionally plant the seeds. In the darkness, I know my light, eternally guiding the way. Dance to the rhythm that guides all life, birth, growth, death, decay. Under the black velvet blanket of stars, I am embraced by the dark. Nothing to fear as I follow the path, alight from my divine inner spark. How would you answer if someone did ask, are you afraid of the night? I hope that, dear sister, you would say no, and that is when dreams take flight. That's by Flora Ware. And it's true, we are not really told to embrace the sacred dark of night, of winter, the dark moon phases. But it's in the dark that seeds are planted. It's when all the magic happens. So the archetype of the Scorpio new moon is connected with the mysteries of birth, death, rebirth, and transformation. It's an invitation to shed old skins, dig deep, and release what is keeping us stuck in old patterns. How many of us get stuck in those old patterns? We just do what we've always done because it seems easier, right? It seems easier to stick in the same old patterns. But use this new moon, as every new moon that we meet, as a way to shed and restart. Scorpio invites us to shine a light in the dark and face our shadow. How about that? It's kind of scary, right? Not many of us want to face our shadow, but it's only by facing our shadow that we're able to rebirth and transform. We must remember that in the shadow lies not only the uncomfortable stuff of our psyche, fear, pain, and rejection, but it's also where the dreams and passions and longings that for a multitude of reasons were not supported or able to be lived out in the way that you want. So over this month, remember these abandoned parts of yourself. That's what Scorpio is reminding us. Remembering these abandoned aspects of the self. Call them home. Acknowledge them and honor them. Bring them to the table. Bring them into this new moon and listen to the stories that they have wanted to tell you for so long. Scorpio is a sign of empowerment, change. It welcomes change. If you think of the Scorpio, crisis skills, self-mastery, sex. Here we come with that sexuality again, but it's okay. And avoiding power struggles. The key word here is transform. If you write that in your diary in big caps, transform. Scorpios are divers of the zodiac. It's the 8th sign. And they have the capacity to go to incredible depths below the surface of their emotions and swim in the deep waters of their own and other people's psyche. Yeah, it's a water sign. But not like our other water signs, Cancer and Pisces, Scorpios tend to keep their emotions close to the vest. They're strongly sexual and immensely passionate, that they're often known as the sex sign of the zodiac. They're ruled by Mars, so they contain fire in them that allows them to achieve and succeed rebirth and transformation. And like I said, they're unique in the zodiac because they have 4 symbols that illustrate their evolving potential nature. So we can think of the Scorpio as the lowest vibrational level of the Scorpio. Self-protective, deeply shy, moody, with a sharp sting if it's attacked. And this lowest element of Scorpio can hold grudges and resentments, feel jealous and slighted easily by its oversensitivity, and it's prone to seeking out its solitary depths. But that's the lowest sign. The second sign is the eagle. So we know the eagle flies high, and it's learned to transform and rise above its own dark emotions and wounds, and soars to the great heights to find higher wisdom and spiritual truths. And the eagle has a piercing perception, and not much manages to escape its gaze. It's deeply connected to both the highest spiritual mastery and the deep, dark underworld of human existence. The eagle element of a Scorpio is reached when one has surpassed and overcome their inner demons. The third evolutionary level is that it's a phoenix, where one is almost drowned by the depths of their own emotional waters. Here's that water sign coming in again. And yet, with a fierce will and intuitive perception, they're able to transcend their lower natures and be reborn into their higher self, one of deep compassion, love, and wisdom. And finally, the snake, its ability to shed the skin, to shed those old karmic wounds that prevent them from transforming. So 4 animals. I think that's pretty amazing, right? Can I get a thumbs up? So Scorpios definitely rule secrets, but awareness of other needs and motives, psychology, charisma, transcendence. There's that word again, transformation, eliminating all baggage, change, restoration, and forgiveness. And in crises, they're really good at taking risks, but to gain power. That's the shadow side. They have some compulsive behavior, obsessions, intense reactions, and they like to live on the edge. Self-mastery is good versus evil, strength, a lot of self-discipline, commitment, and a depth of character. They love to bond. Soulmates, deep emotional connections with mutual validation. But the shadow side can be a misuse of power. Revenge, jealousy, harsh judgments, destructive urges, power struggles, abandonment, suspicion, and guilt. I think that's often what we hear about Scorpio, is this sting in the tail. I don't know if anybody's been on the other end of that. Let's take a deep breath. That's a lot of information. It's a lot of all these different elements of Scorpio. As you can see, that's why they're able to transform and live through this cycle of life and death. So the three main qualities, just to boil that down, of Scorpios are determined, they're alchemists, and they're impassioned. So every month during this new moon ceremony, I'm going to take you through a guided meditation. And for this Scorpio new moon, we're going to focus on transforming your old beliefs so that you're aligned with your own inner wisdom and soulful work. So it's a time to die, metaphorically. Let go of those old beliefs, habits, roles or ways of being, so that you can transform and be reborn, so you can do your soul work. And then speaking your truth, so you can move forward, rooted in your highest good. And then deep soul connections, so you can let go of codependent ones, so you can attract higher serving relationships. So we're going to begin our meditation. So if you want to lie down, I know some of you like to lie down during these meditations, or sitting comfortably with your back supported. We'll begin. As we close our eyes and go within under this new moon in Scorpio, thinking of the water element, the water element that gives us life, sustains us, refreshes us, knowing we are 70% water, and honoring our connection to Mother Earth. The rivers and oceans are our tears. The element of water reminds us of the ebb and flow of our emotions. Reminds us of a river or stream or the oceans, a turquoise curl of waves, the waves coming in and out of the shoreline, the bubbling creek of water tumbling over the river rocks, or the lake, the smooth glass water in a lake, serene. And on this morning here in Southern California, the misty air, heavy with water. let us recognize the ebb and flow of our emotions so that we can ride the tides. And let us embrace the fluidity of water, constantly moving and changing. And recognizing the heartbeat, the strong pulse of Mother Earth. Knowing we are connected to all the elements. Earth, our bones. Water, our blood. Air, our breath. And fire, our spirit. Let us not lose the connection with Mother Earth and the moon tides. The moon pulling on our emotions. Invitation to go within, to set intentions and plant seeds for the month ahead, and then to let go. And start the cycle again each month. Now I want you to just think about a time maybe when you were holding on too tight, holding on to old beliefs and old ways of how you should do things, and how you know that there's another way. If only you could let go, or dip your toe in the water and at least get a sense of what the change might look like. What does that feel like? What does that look like to you, making change? Just a little baby step, letting go of those old patterns. Just visualize that. Bring that into your belly, your heart. And just have an inner smile. And then moving on to speaking your truth. When have you held back speaking your truth or not felt supported or afraid to speak your truth? Now see yourself in the center, speaking your truth, speaking your truth for yourself, for the legacy of women who've gone before us. Speaking your truth for those who will come after us. As women, we're healing legacies, healing the legacy of the witch, the women, the wise women, healing the legacy of the women drummers who were forbidden to drum at one time, and how when I hold the drum, I hold all that she represents. The circle, unity, and the power of our voices as women, speaking our truths. It doesn't have to be loud. It's just speaking with love and compassion for yourself, healing wounds, and then finally, soul deep connections. Letting go of codependent relationships, relationships that suck the life out of us. And creating boundaries, boundaries that you can show love and compassion, but not to the expense of yourself. Scorpios love soul deep connections. They love to connect on a deep level. So how can you make space for those in your life? Or just imagining right now having that deep connection with a soul sister, a melting of minds, a melting of hearts, through music, through dance, through writing, whatever it is, walking in nature together, sometimes not even talking. I know I long for that. I long to connect on that deep soul level without necessarily talking. And connect in a way sometimes without words, just an inner knowing. And recognizing all these animals, the phoenix, the Scorpio, the eagle, and the snake. All these power animals associated with the Scorpio. Without life, there is no death, and without death, there is no life. Shining a light in the dark so we can expose these shadow sides of ourselves and heal and bring light to them. If they're kept in the dark, they will never heal. And maybe some of this shadow side we don't necessarily like, but you're not alone. It takes strength to be vulnerable and bring the shadow to the light so that it can be transmuted, transformed, reborn. And yes, it takes work. But aren't we here to heal ourselves on this time in our planet, under this new moon, honoring the transformation of Scorpio? And as always, we must be grounded, rooted, so we can feel safe and be with like-minded, supportive women in circle. So again, let's think of the element water and how it moves with the ebb and flow. In harmony, honoring the cycles of life and death, honoring the ebb and flow of our emotions, so we can release and let go and not hold on too tight. And let's just sit for another minute in front of your body of water, whether that is a lake, a stream, or the ocean. Just sit in front of that element of water for one more minute. What do you notice? And as you gently bring yourself back into the space, hearing the resonance of sound like ripples as we come back into the room. Taking a deep breath and exhale. So if you grab your journals, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. So as the Scorpio new moon reminds us, we can't have life without death, and fertility without rot. But death need not be feared or viewed with horror. It's a cycle, a transformation, not an end. So the first question: what unhealthy obsessions and temptations are taking their toll on your energy? What unhealthy obsessions and temptations are taking their toll on your energy? This new moon, Scorpio new moon, is inviting us to move away from what is draining our heart, mind, body, and soul. I do invite you to just let the words flow, no editing when you do this writing. We've got a couple of more minutes, so you can keep writing. It's really helpful under the new moon to assign a separate journal, and then you can look back on the previous month and see what came to fruition when you planted those seeds. So we will be meeting again next month. So we'll have an opportunity to look back at what you wrote, what intentions you set, and what came to fruition, and maybe what needs tweaking. Okay, next question. During this new moon in Scorpio, we are reminded that it's a time to die, metaphorically, to let go of old beliefs and habits and roles of ways of being, so you can transform and be reborn. So the question is, what old beliefs are you willing to let die so you can transform? What old beliefs are you willing to let die so you can transform? And then last question. Scorpio reminds us to keep our eyes open for insincere promises or those who may play upon our good nature in order to get what they want. So the question is, what boundaries are you not honoring in relationships? Is it time to take off your rose-colored glasses in order to see the truth? What boundaries are you or not honoring in relationships? Is it time to take off your rose-colored glasses in order to see the truth? Another minute. So if anybody wants to share in the chat, it's anonymous, but if there's any, what unhealthy obsessions are you willing to let go of? I'll start. Social media. It's unhealthy, what am I saying? An unhealthy obsession, this feeling that, I'll just hop onto Instagram for 5 minutes and 20 minutes later I'm still there, or Facebook. So that's what I'm willing to acknowledge. Anybody else want to pop something in the chat? Any unhealthy obsession? It's really good to be witnessed in this space. Get it out there if you feel comfortable. Yeah, social media as well. It's challenging as it's also our workplace. Absolutely. It is. Worry. Yeah. Robbing ourselves of being in the moment, worrying about the future, or hanging on to the past. Yeah, social media and unhealthy eating. Yeah. Yeah. So with setting intentions, during this process, we've released what it is that we want to release. Now we want to reword that and set an intention. So I'll start. So with me, I'm releasing the social media. So my intention is, I set a timer for my social media engagement. Let me just reword that. I set my timer for 10 minutes each morning to engage on social media. So that's my intention, based upon releasing that unhealthy habit. You can time all your apps. I'm sure everybody knows that. You can go into your settings and put timers on Facebook and Instagram so that it pops up and tells you, oh, that's 10 minutes, or you can set it for 30 minutes, whatever. And the key is not to override it when it does pop up. But at least it's a start. Or if there's another mechanical way, maybe not on your phone, maybe I don't know, an egg timer or something that you can do. That's your intention. Because if you know it's unhealthy, I mean, there's, like somebody said, we need it for our business. But like I said, I don't need to be on there for an hour. Right? Anybody want to put in their intention in the chat on what they might do? Or maybe you've written it down, or I'll move on to what all beliefs are you willing to let die so you can transform? If you drop something in the chat about what old beliefs you're willing to let die, I'll start. Yeah. Control. Not being good enough. And perfectionism. That people have to like me. Oh. Resonating with these. I mean, every time we let go of something, we're putting it out to the collective, and it'll help somebody else too. So an intention in terms of the unhealthy eating is to walk the grocery aisles and only put healthy items in your cart. Yeah, going with the shopping list, just having, or not going grocery shopping when you're hungry, that's another thing. Yeah, not worthy, scarcity mentality. Yeah. First step is awareness, right? And then writing your intention. So I am supported. I have everything I need in terms of writing your intention. So if you jot down a little intention regarding the old beliefs that you're willing to let go. And these are intentions that we can set every month and have visible. So we see them, write them out on a card so you can see them, stick them by your computer. I mean, it's being constantly reminded of our intentions that works. It's like any habit. And it's important to set that intention. Once you've released what no longer serves you, is that creates a space, right? So you want to have an intention that takes up that space, that hole that you've released, that let go. Otherwise something else might come in, negative. So you want to pop something positive in its place, and that's your intention. So in terms of writing an intention for like not feeling good enough is I am good enough. I think that also comes from comparison of other people, thinking they're better. But we all have our individual soul gifts, right? And 10 people can take the same class but put their own spin on it. We are unique. It's honoring our unique soul gift. And then what boundaries are you honoring in your relationship or not? I am worthy. I am valuable. Yes. I am abundant. Yes. This is all amazing. So what boundaries are you letting go? What boundaries are you acknowledging or not acknowledging? Part of Scorpio is, craving these deep relationships, soul deep relationships. And, it's a reciprocal, it's an exchange of energy, right, between two people. So it's honoring the space and time that you have with each other. So it's mutually beneficial. So I am smart enough, I am educated enough, I am worthy, yes. What boundaries are you honoring or not honoring? I think for me it's time. Time spent in conversation. I'm worthy of getting my needs met. Yeah. I've sometimes made myself late to an appointment because I've been listening to a friend. Yeah, when to give and when to receive. To own my yes and to own my no. Yeah. Yes means yes and no means no. Yeah. Yeah. So writing those intentions again, honoring your boundaries. Time as well, not letting others know I have to go now. Yes, talking, yeah, it's so challenging, and there's so much grace. I'll never forget when I first moved to America from England, and one of my friends, I'd invited her out to go and see a movie, and she was so graceful the way she declined my offer, and I never forget that. I said, do you want to go and see a movie? And she said, well, thank you so much for inviting me, but I'm not able to make it. And that was it. No explanation. No, just straight. She's from New York. I think that had a lot to do with it. But just the way, the grace. I didn't feel let down. I was like, oh, okay, maybe another time then. And it was so good for both of us. I'm like, ooh, I need to learn from that. All right. Well, we're coming to a close, everybody. I just wanted to let you know that next month new moon is in Sagittarius, and we're going to have our ceremony on Friday, December 3rd at the same time, 9 a.m. Pacific. So that's the new moon in Sagittarius. And during this course of the month, the moon changes. It goes from crescent to waxing to waning to full. So there are different points in the cycle of the moon where you revisit your intentions, say them out loud. So I will be sending you some emails as a reminder of what to do with your intentions, and then when to let them go at the full moon. So the full moon is in Taurus on November 19th this month, but I will be sending you some reminder emails. So I want to thank everybody for being here in this space and feeling comfortable to share and to sit, and giving yourself a pat on the back for creating this time, this hour under this dark moon, this new moon. And then I hope to see you next month. I'm sure I'll see you on social media as well. So take care of yourself, everybody. Drink plenty of water, and I do recommend you move these emotions through your body, through walking, dancing, whatever that looks and feels like to you. It is a misty morning, like I said earlier. I see it's just 60 degrees, but I don't know, there's something very special about this time of year. It's just a reminder that, this cycle of life, things decay, and we come back around again in spring. It's a reminder to go within and be comfortable with the silence. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'll see you next month. Have a great day, everybody.